presentation. Gilbert, would you go first, please?
Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this day. We just thank you for your mercy, and we just thank you for our veterans, and we just thank you for opportunity to serve our people. Guide and lead us, and let us make the right decisions to better lives of our people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Roll call. Shelley? James Taylor? Here. Keith Osmond?
Here.
Bill England?
Aye.
Harley Buzzard? Joe Byrd?
Aye.
John Crittenden?
Aye.
Mike Dobbins?
Here.
Ken Duncan?
Aye.
Linda Hatfield? Rex Jordan?
Here.
Dick Ladd?
Here.
Mike Shambaugh?
Here.
Mary Bakershaw?
Connie.
Leo Smith?
Yes.
Victoria Westwood? David Walkenstick? Brian Warner?
All righty, you have the minutes from the January 31st meeting. Would somebody ask for their approval, please?
Second.
Got a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from January 31st. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Our first report is from Sean Slayton, Cherokee Nation Businesses.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Sean.
If it's okay, I have Molly Jarvis here, one of our young Cherokee executives that would like to deliver a report today on our effort nationwide to recruit Cherokees. And so at this time, if it pleases you, I know she was further down on the agenda, if we can move her up, and then after that, I'll finish my report.
I would prefer to do that while you're here. You can tag team on the questions.
Sure.
So Molly, you come on up and give us just a minute. We have to change the electronic equipment.
All right, I think,
Wait just a minute.
okay.
Yeah, so which one's-
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and tell you all about a campaign we have kicked off a couple months ago. This is a recruitment campaign. It was really the vision of our executive leadership and a collaborative team effort between our marketing department, communications department, human resources, and IT in an effort to expand our network of Cherokee citizens and fill the pipeline with resumes of people who would be potential job applicants in the future for positions we have really across the country. So I'll kind of go through in this presentation and walk you through the pieces that have been sent out and then the results that we've seen since we launched that campaign in December. Clicking. Easy, Daddy. Helps if you turn it on. Anything that says on.
Don't ask me. I can't find the remote at my house.
There, okay. There we go. All right, so our first mailer went out in December and really provided those who received it an overview of CMB, what we do. On the right there is a list of career possibilities or areas that people may be interested in. The inside had, on the left, you'll see it really gave people, again, an overview of where CMB has offices, 47 in 47 of the states, 25 countries, 2 U.S. provinces. Really gave just a high-level overview of the business with 7,000 employees, revenue, how that's split between gaming and diversified businesses, and then our benefits package information. And then through this series of mailers that we're sending out, we are highlighting current employees who are Cherokee citizens and have been with us long-term and had good career paths. So our Executive Vice President, Chuck Garrett, was featured in this first one. The next one that went out really talked about profits and careers with a purpose. So we were able to highlight Tamara Hibbard, who's a longtime CMB employee, and again, remind people about some of the career opportunities that we have, and then talk about the purpose for our business. And you can't see it here, but what this does is this gives people a landing page to go to called careersforcherokees.com, and then they go there, and I'll show you on down in the slide presentation what information they're providing to us. Then the last one that just went out in February featured a C&E employee, George Jones. He's had a great career with us and moved up in his career path. But our focus of this one was about the stability of the company. And then since the inception of the campaign, we've had more than 1,600 people who've come to that Careers for Cherokees website to find out more information. And so that just gives some stats. There's been 2,100 what we call sessions on the site. That just means that more than 500 people visited the site more than once. And then where are people coming to us from? So about 1,300 of the people type directly in careersforcherokees.com on their computer or mobile device. Then the rest of the breakdown there is about 160 of them came to us through some social media channel. That could be Facebook, that could be Twitter. Then about 120 came to us organically. That's through an unpaid social media channel. And then about 19 others were referrals. So someone shared a social media post with them, or they were referred by someone else. And where are they coming to us from? So we have information that about 1,500 of those respondents are within the continental U.S. We do have 24 who are from international locations, India, China, the Ukraine. So we're reaching Cherokee citizens who are far and abroad. And then we have some unknowns, and what that means is, for example, someone may be coming to us on their mobile device and they have turned off their location finder. So the top states that we are getting inquiries from, 70% of those have come from Oklahoma, Texas, and California. And then on the bottom right is kind of a split of how are people reaching us, and it's about 50-50, with I think it's 47% coming to us from a computer and the remaining 53% coming through a mobile device, being either a phone or an iPad. And what are we doing with this information? So on the careersforcherokees.com site, there's a form to fill out with, you give us your name, your phone number, your email, the area, career area that you may be interested in, and then the preferred way to contact you. So far we've had 427 people fill out the form. We've had 400 give us their email. And from this, we've had 145 actually submit their resume to us. And since that first launch in December, we have made 2 hires, one in human resources, and I have to get the information about the other person we've hired. I don't recall what area they're in. But the top categories that people are telling us they're interested in are administration, human resources, hotel and resort administration or management, guest services, and purchasing or inventory management. And then I'm going to show you the videos that are on the sites for our 3 featured employees who have been in the mailers so far.
I give total credit to my parents and the people around me, the extended family around me, that provided the moral compass and encouragement to do the right thing. I was a Muskogee rougher and enjoyed my high school career there, but I couldn't wait to get to University of Oklahoma and become a Sooner, and was fortunate to perform well at OU and was admitted to Harvard Law, where I studied law for 3 years. I was outside of Oklahoma for roughly 30 years, both studying and the early parts of my education and career in New York and then down in Texas, as well as the later parts of my career in California. Around the age 50, I got to the point where I was really feeling like there was a transition from taking and learning and moving into giving and teaching. Well, Cherokee Nation Businesses is the economic engine of Cherokee Nation, and it's our mission to help grow the economy of Cherokee Nation. We are focused on our employees and their well-being, as well as the well-being of their families. Whether it's competitive salaries or competitive benefit packages, we want our employees to realize that we recognize that they are the key to our success. There are many aspects of Cherokee Nation Businesses that may be surprising to people. First, we've earned over $1 billion of revenue in each of the last 3 years. We're in 47 states, 25 countries, and 2 territories with over 7,000 employees. Our revenues are also very diverse. 57% of our revenues last year came from gaming and hospitality activities, while 43% came from industries such as construction, healthcare, consulting, technology, environmental, and logistics. By our dividends that we give annually and our special dividends that we provide our shareholder, the Cherokee Nation, we're able to help men and women that are in need of some additional support by the tribe. We help sustain programs such as education, housing, healthcare. Being a contributing member of the family at Cherokee Nation Businesses is something that is so unique and is such an interesting opportunity to give back. I'm quite certain that there are talented professionals across the country that either just don't know much about Cherokee Nation Businesses or don't know how to plug into them. So I'm hoping that we'll continue our outreach to make certain that people know the opportunities that are out there for them. It's an exciting time to be at Cherokee Nation Businesses. We're at a tipping point. Our diversification efforts are paying off, and there are career opportunities throughout the country in a variety of industries for you to pursue.
We grew up pretty poor, in a small town, large family. I remember when I was little, I was 4 years old, I had TB, I developed tuberculosis. And so my first memory of Cherokee Nation was the little hospital, Hastings Hospital. It was a little bitty tiny hospital over on the north side of town. So I spent a lot of time there as a kid. I started working for Cherokee Nation Businesses in November 1990, so 28 years. I was 19, had a little baby, he was 4 months old. My husband and I, we were out looking for a job, and I saw that there was a position open for the secretary, and I interviewed for the secretary position, and I got that. But it wasn't Cherokee Nation Businesses back then. It was actually Cherokee Nation Bingo Outpost, and we only had just the one facility in Roland. It was a bingo hall. We had 60 employees. There's actually only one person that's been here longer than me. She's been here 2 weeks longer than me. But there's 3 originals left from day one. So over the last 28 years, I've had a lot of positions, a lot of different titles. But I think my favorite position is the one that I'm currently in. I'm the Senior Business Systems Analyst. Basically, I analyze things, which really suits my personality and my temperament. I like puzzles. I like fixing things. We find a problem, we figure out how to fix it, and then we find the best way to implement the fix that has the most positive impact on the company and on the employees. So I'm really passionate about helping the Cherokees, from my little 3-year-old grandson learn the Cherokee language and the heritage, all the way up to the Cherokee elders around town that need help. The tribe is building the new Cherokee Nation healthcare facility in Tahlequah. I see stories online about that being the largest Native American clinic in the United States. And seeing the hospital that I went through when I was little to what this is going to be now is I'm so proud to even be a part of that, to know that Cherokee Nation Businesses and what I do has contributed to the building of the new clinic. I have another 20 years before I am eligible to retire. I see myself here in 20 years when I retire. Hopefully, I will have a 50-year anniversary at Cherokee Nation Businesses, and I'm excited to see what the next 20 years brings.
I actually didn't think I'd be here. I figured I'd probably just be working some labor job, and that was kind of what I grew up around. When I got to the job, just kind of how the people, treat you, and everything you see is just like, wow, I really want to be a part of this and create something better. The Hard Rock has really gave me a future with a career path. I got on in housekeeping, did that for 6 months. Then I transferred over to security and then just promoted my way up. The casino is a family. It's a community. It's a fun, friendly thing. And my wife's mother, she's worked there for 25 years. My wife's worked there for 12, and then now I've worked there for almost 7 years. On the weekends and stuff, I spend time with my family, really. We go fishing, I watch sports. There's definitely people where you can go to them and they can help you with your career. Had a wife and a child, and really wanted to dedicate myself back to school to better myself for the company. I should have my associate's degree this year. I do take great pride in working at the casino. I feel that my actions directly do reflect Cherokee Nation, and so I always try to make the best of my abilities. The benefits, they're great. We get higher wages. When we need time off, we get time off. If we're not feeling good, we get sick time. The birth of my child and my wife got off 8 weeks paid. We do create a lot of revenue for the tribe, and I do feel very proud of that when they open up new hospitals, new clinics. The Hard Rock has really brought my life to where it's at today. My wife, my children, our first home. My kids make me happy, but we're this happy because of where I work, my financial stability.
Open for questions.
Let's see if we need to wait. I have. Wait just 1 minute. We're good? Okay. All right. Mary, go ahead.
I see where you're advertising for jobs for CNB. Do you all ever help with any other areas with Cherokee Nation, such as healthcare?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We were asked to include medical categories in this mailer. So we've done that since December. We got those specific categories working with the hospital administration. And so those are included in any resumes that we get or contacts that we get with that batch, we will send over to Cherokee Nation HR.
And then one other question, have we ever used a search organization, a search firm for any of our positions? Do we now?
Early on we did, but we have such a robust recruiting department that only on special occasions do we resort to that. But to the question before, I have personally had Amber Edwards send over 3 emails or resumes to Brian Hale, and they were really quality resumes, I felt like, from Cherokee people interested in a position. So once they get over there, we kind of lose contact with that, but it's a foundation that we've started building that I think is really going to benefit us for a long time to come. I'm very proud of the production there. That's all done by our in-house production crews and Cherokee citizens that have produced that. That's as good a quality as you'll find anywhere.
It looks like a lovely project. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Anybody else? Okay, I think it's Molly.
Thank you. I'll leave these with Gail.
Sean, you're still on.
Am I? All right. Well, I've got a little bit to share.
Thank you, Molly.
strong start to the second quarter of our fiscal year. Proud of our employees and everyone for that. And that was done in January in spite of the government shutdown, and also that delayed the start to the refund checks, which is usually the prelude to some of our strongest months of the year. We continue to move forward in the diversified area. Talked to Mr. Bilby today. We had a fantastic week in contract awards from the government. They are playing catch up and trying to get things out after they were experienced that shutdown. And then just on the corporate side of it, we continue to make progress on our PeopleSoft implementation that's replacing our HR system to help better manage what you saw today. Track 5 open remained strong. Had good results for the first 3-4 weekends, as does the Hard Rock. In spite of all the competition and dollars that have been poured into the Tulsa market, they're still on top. I'd like to invite everybody, and I think you may have gotten this, on March 8th at 6:30 p.m. We'll have a ribbon cutting at Track 5. The Swan Brothers will be doing a free concert. You're welcome to come and enjoy their music and the good times that go on there. In that expansion, we still have a little bit left to do. I don't know if any of you were able to take the tour of the multipurpose room, but we're trying to finalize that and get that completed and ready to go to host weddings, comedy shows, just whatever. It's going to be a good addition to the deal. Once we finish the inside, we'll be working on the exterior. That will take about a year. That property is 10 years old, and we'll be refinishing not only the exterior but the interior too. I was looking at the rooms the other day, and being 10 years old and running about 80 to 90% occupancy, each room within the last 10 years has averaged about 2,500 guest stays over that time period. So, with that many people in and out of the room, it's a credit to our housekeeping and our facilities people that they have remained in the shape that they're in today. Also, along with that, we're going to repaint the exterior of the whole property. We'll be doing that in 2 or 3 phases, and it'll take about a year. If you've been up there, you may notice that the center bar is closed. Now that we've got Track 5 open and that big bar over there, 2 big bars, it gives us opportunity to close that, replace that, refurbish it. As you can imagine, over 10 years, and I don't know how many beers and stuff that were served there, you get leaks and things like that, and it was just time to get that replaced. It's going to be a major replacement, and it'll be closed for about 3 months. So when you go there, you'll see it vinyled off and protected, so people don't wander back there and get into something that they shouldn't. And then the hotel rooms will take about 6 to 9 months to renovate all of that. And with that, that's my report today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Vasquez?
Yes, Sean, the entertainment that goes on in Track 5, is it online somewhere where you can see who's going to be there? Like the band?
I would say I'm sure it is, but I'm not sure it is. I would think it was. I'll check on that and let you know where. We've just relaunched our website, so that may be a new addition. I'm not sure.
No? Anybody else? Go ahead, Harlan.
Sean, I've had some calls about our casino there at Grove, Montana, on the entrance where you go in for lunch or dinner. They were asking about some handicap doors there, which about the doors will open.
Okay.
Check into that if you would.
We will. I think we put those on the bathrooms. We had requests for that, and we got those finished.
Oh, okay.
But you're talking about the doors into that room to eat, the dining
Yeah, where
area?
you could go from the outside to the inside. There's no handicap doors there to open the door.
To go into the dining room?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, I want to thank you for getting that lit up over there for those employees walking.
Absolutely, it made a difference, did it?
Sure made a big difference.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. And it was something we should have
They're taking it
caught sooner than that. But there are two crosswalks. They did the one, and then I saw them Tuesday doing the other one. So we've got them both lit up.
I think if, I did get one comment on it. He said, well, I thought y'all was going to put up a push button where we stop the cars, you know.
Yeah.
Light.
Those are our customers. Employees can wait.
There you go.
Any other questions?
I'll point that out.
All right, we appreciate you, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving Molly the time to come
You're
over here
welcome.
and do that. Okay, next is our financial report. Our treasurer's not feeling good, so she sent Jamie over.
Thank you, madam. So I believe you've received our monthly report. Just like to say that our auditors remain on site. We'll have that audit completed by the end of March as required. Be happy to try to answer questions.
Any questions for the office of the treasurer? Okay, got off easy. All right, and Diane Kelly, I was going to say, I saw you. Jody sat down in front of you. See you.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chairman, council members. It's good to see you back, Councilman Buzzard.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
We sent you our monthly report, and most of it is full of economic development. We've had a real exciting month. Brenda and Deborah and Kim and all of our staff have been real excited with our announcements. We got a letter from the state on our TANF between now and when we met with you on education. And they're telling us that we will probably get somewhere between $5,444,000 of the TANF every year. We don't know how many cases that's going to be. We just got that from the state, and they sent that to us here. I think we got it last Thursday. So we're excited that that's another feather in our hat from what we got with our opioid grant. We're working with HR to get those positions on board. The Job Corps RFP came in, and it's going to be about approximately $38 million over the next 5 years. So staff's been really busy. We've got a lot to look forward to, I guess, a lot of work. But it's exciting. It's always exciting when you put out the effort to go after these grants and you feel like if you get one of them, that's good. But everything we went after, we got. And we're kind of overwhelmed because we did not anticipate that. The Nooks Eatery, they actually have hired about 60 of their new employees, and we did the job fairs, and 50% of the employees are Native American, and we're working with Sofidel up at Inola, which is going to be a $360 million paper plant, about 300 jobs. We've done a couple of job fairs for them, and they seem to be real satisfied with the outcome of those job fairs. Hunter Palmer was recognized for being 40 under 40 for economic development. That's in the report. So if you see him, you can congratulate him or pat him on the back. Then we are working on our job fairs for the health department. We've done a couple of them so far. We are doing one, sometimes two in 1 week. We'll be doing this up through May. And we would have probably had a better turnout had the weather been better, but we still had a good turnout, and there were some good candidates that came through. We're working also with Sean's team. We have a joint meeting with Stephanie and her team this month for working with them on some of their recruitment as well. Hunter and I met with the Port Authority for Catoosa and Tulsa last week, and one of the things we found out is that they've got 81 businesses out there at the Port of Catoosa, which you're shaking your head, you probably already knew that. But it's been a while since I had been out there, but I was unaware that they had that many. When I was out there before, they didn't have that many. But she was telling us that they have jobs out there for welders, electricians, and carpenters, starting out around $12 per hour. And in some of the businesses, they could be making $20 an hour if they have the experience and expertise. and that they did a graph to determine where most of their people are coming from, and they are coming from other counties. They're not necessarily there in the Tulsa area. They're driving great distances to work in those jobs. So we're going to be continuing our effort to help them get the word out. And they met with all 3 of the Job Corps centers because they're interested in looking at any of the recruits that are coming out of Job Corps for Guthrie, Tulsa, and Talking Leaves to try to sway them to come to work out there. So they're going to set up some tours for some of these students that are getting ready to graduate. Environmental Services and our department hosted a meeting with Sustainable Tulsa. And if you're familiar with that, it's a woman-owned company. There's 4 ladies that own it. They're working in environmentally safe conditions, working with businesses there in the Tulsa area. Started out as a small woman-owned business, and Wayne met them somewhere. Wayne said, could you set up a meeting? So we have the Taro office there. So we're looking at trying to identify one of our Taro businesses, and then they're going to select a business that we could partner with them on and do some data to determine whether or not this is something that we would take and offer it to some of our other Taro businesses. Because one of the things that we do with our fees is that we do some training with our Taro offices. And so this is something that we're going to start working with Environmental Services, Sarah and Wayne on. Another thing that we plan to do is that we've had some of our Taro businesses that have asked us about how would they get their 8A certification. And Sean has been nice enough to tell me that he would allow one of his staff to come and work with us. But he said, I'm not going to give you my trade secrets. And I said, oh, Sean, I can get those someplace else. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, we're going to set up some meetings for some of our Taro businesses that are interested in pursuing some more opportunities to enhance and help grow their businesses. And we'll do this probably in the late spring. So I just wanted to share that with you. Overall, it's been a good month, so we will have a lot more things to tell you as the months roll out and we start getting all of our staff on board and we start expanding. Brad's working on a map. It'll show you where everybody's located. We'll have that probably in our report next month because we have spread out in about 7 different locations here on the campus. When TANF comes into play, we'll have to have additional space and we'll show you where we think we may be going for that. We're expanding in Sallisaw, expanding in Pryor, expanding in Tulsa. Those are the 3 offices besides Tahlequah where we have earmarked those positions, which will be doing field work in all the other counties. So we will be in every one of the counties with the programs. Are there any questions?
I just have a couple of comments. The fact that you're receiving more and more grants, I think, is testament to the fact that you've shown to be good stewards of the grants you've gotten, and so people are paying attention to what you're doing with the money, and I think that's awesome. Also, I didn't realize Hunter's Award was a national award. You know, there's 40 under 40 in Tulsa, and that's what I thought it was, and it's not that uncommon for people at Cherokee Nation to get that award, but I didn't realize until your report that that was a national award, so kudos to him.
And I've got 3 staff that will be going to Indianapolis. One will graduate with their economic development certification, and that's Shauna Miles. The other 2 are Richard Drywater and Matthew Lamont.
Okay.
So most all my management team will have their certification or their degree in the economic development area. So we'll have a well-rounded group of individuals.
Diane, the TANF office, did you say you're going to be expanding those to the other? Did you say those were the ones in Sallisaw?
The main offices for the operation will be here in Tahlequah, and then we'll have extended offices in Sallisaw, Pryor, and in Tulsa. But we'll be covering all of the 14 counties. We will have established days that we'll be working there, or else we will have 1 or 2 workers in those other counties.
Was it a radius thing?
No, we don't know. We don't know exactly where we're going to have to put them until we get those files from the state. We have no way of knowing where those cases are sitting. We know that Tulsa is going to be a big one, and we will be covering that whole county. Everybody that's Cherokee in that whole county will have to come to see us. If they're Creek, they'll go to the Creek Nation, but the other will be divided. Same thing in Muskogee County as well. We'll cover all of Muskogee with every Cherokee, and the Creeks will cover the whole county with Creeks, and then everything else is divided. So we don't know until we get those case files exactly. It could very well be that Delaware and Adair County has the most. It could be that Cherokee County and Mays County has the most. We won't know.
We'll adjust then.
We will have to adjust then. But right now, we're setting all of our offices up for the opioid and the TEP program, all in those 3 offices, because we've got additional space there.
Thank you, Diane.
Counselor Hatfield?
I have a question about your reentry program. Can you tell me in a nutshell? And I could probably go research it, or would you rather I just call Matt Lamont? I had received a couple of, actually, handwritten letters from not necessarily my constituents, but
The people that are in the penal system are getting ready to come out. Yeah, you can forward those to Matt Lamont. He gets them every week. In fact, Councilwoman Baker Shaw also gave us a couple last month.
Okay, all right.
Now,
Thank you.
anytime you need to get a hold of anybody, or if you have any questions about any of our programs and career services, or anything about career services, feel free to call me. I give people my home phone number. I answer phone calls all hours of the night.
Has this been pretty successful? I mean, you report, I mean, you present it to us, but like, is it a pretty successful program?
Wanda, given the fact that we only started out with a small amount of money, and what we did is we cross-trained staff, and we were able to enhance that, and as a result of it, that's what helped us to get money from the Justice Department. And when we turn our data and our statistics in off this grant that we got this past year, we're hoping that that will open the door for us to get additional monies. We've been invited by the United States Department of Labor to come down and talk about how we're doing wraparound with all those programs that we've received here in the last year. And one of the deputy directors at the Dallas Regional Office said, if you had a wish list, what is one of the areas that we could bring to the table for this presentation that would help you or to get additional monies? And I told him reentry was one of them, because there is monies in the reentry area. And if you listen to President Trump's State of the Union address, that was one of the things that he talked about in the opioid addiction. And he also talked about people coming out of incarceration. So we know that there's going to be programs out there either in Justice or in the Department of Labor, and we want to be at the table, and we want to be able to go after those.
Will does this cover all Cherokee citizens, or is it just for
The reentry program?
Yeah, is it for?
It's just Cherokee citizens.
It's I meant in the jurisdictional area. Is it just in the
Yes,
jurisdictional?
jurisdictional area.
No at large.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Diane.
But if you have somebody at large, we can contact another agency that
And
does
that would
reentry
be the-
and put them in contact with them.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
Diane, do you have the statistics? I had talked to Daryl about this one time. The statistics of a felon returning to crime was so much %, but the ones that went through our program, the recidivism was, do you happen to have those?
Was that the report that he gave you about a year ago?
I think it was actually just he and I were talking at the time. I had called him about something, and but it was phenomenal. Like if the general population is 40%, they return. Ours was 2% or something like that.
We can get that. We can get that for you. We can.
Would you get
update
that?
it.
Because I think everybody would be interested in seeing that. I was very impressed with it. Okay, did somebody else have something? Okay, go ahead, Hart.
Just a comment, Diane. You're doing great work all around. But, I guess where I'm coming from is more of our rural Cherokees. These jobs in Catoosa and Tulsa area, they're good because it gives our people an opportunity to go up there. But I'm living out here 75 miles from Tulsa, but I want jobs to come into our rural areas. We're taking a lot of our rural Indians and transporting them to Tulsa, or they're driving up there. And his economic development, I'd like him to see more work with our rural economic development people in those counties, like Jay, COL, and just people in the rural areas, because our people have to drive so far to get those $12, $15 an hour jobs. And I don't know how you do that. You know, we've got some initiatives there in Jay trying to bring companies in, and we always call you when we get a person on the hook to help us. So I just wished we could do more for our rural Indians.
I understand, and I appreciate where you're coming from, because coming from rural Adair County and working in this arena for as long as I've been working in it, if you don't understand, working in community development gave me some insight to the economic development. And there's a lot that goes into bringing jobs to the area. Number one, you've got to have the infrastructure in place. And in a lot of our rural areas, we don't have rail, you don't have the port next door to you, and you don't have the interstate near you. And most all these businesses that are wanting to locate in Oklahoma or nearby want transportation accessibility, either by rail or by the interstate. And if you're sitting along one of those routes where you have rail and you have the interstate, it's easier to get a business to locate. And J America is one of the hardest because you don't have either one. And for a long time, you didn't even have an industrial park. So.
And I know, and I understand all of that. But just don't forget, you're having an economic development director to happen to help us out there too, because we want to keep our kids around home too, instead of driving far distances. And you've done a good job on helping us out there.
Well, Harley, there was a lady that mentored me a long time ago in the 70s. Her name was Exie Monroe, and she was from Jay, and she said, Diane, she said, I'm not going to be around all these years, but she said, just don't forget Jay. We're out here.
Well, that's where you remind you.
And of course, Chuck always told me, he said, don't forget Vanita, we're up north. And then Dick says, don't forget us, we're up here at Ochaleta. So I look at the big picture, and I know that we're here to serve everybody, not just.
And I'm proud of all these people that you can put to work, Anybody can put to work, this is appreciate you.
I appreciate all your all support. Anything else?
Anything else? All right, we're gonna let you go.
Thank you.
Go put
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you. All right, Shay, are you up for Anna? What can you tell us about the VITA program?
About what? VITA?
VITA?
We're just busy. As of yes. Were you talking? Okay. As of last week, we had prepared taxes and filed them for about 500 people.
Good.
They're staying really busy. It's a much needed service, and so I definitely encourage you, although the appointments have booked up fast. I think they're booked through the end of March. We do have walk-in clinics available. So if they're not able to meet with us, we have other places we can refer people to if they don't want to wait on getting an appointment or if a walk-in doesn't work for them. So.
And I think the biggest thing about that I don't think a lot of people know is the commercial tax preparers, those people work on commission. And so they don't necessarily have the best interest of the taxpayer at heart, where this is all volunteer, and I think you're keeping people from being taken advantage of.
Thank you. I'm glad you recognize that. And I say it every year. And so for those of you who have been sitting here a while, you hear me say it every year. But not only are people being provided a free service, but we're also trying to drop little bits of pieces of financial literacy and just a little bit of guidance to those individuals with simple things like, so do you have plans for this money? What you planning on doing? What are you thinking about? Do you have an account? So we still try to find a way to do things to give them little pieces of financial literacy with it. So,
Education along with
yes.
Awesome.
If I could just go back and mention one thing while it's on my mind about what Harley talked about, and that is, economic development in rural communities. I just want to let you know, commerce plays a part in that as well. With the infrastructure improvements that were made last year in Jay. This year we've gotten a grant from the USDA to make some infrastructure improvements in Stillwell. So those kinds of things, partnering with Diane's group to do, the job creation really does help those communities. So we're always looking for opportunities to increase the economic development in those rural communities as well.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're in full holiday mode right now. I know it's only the end of February and the holiday is not really on most people's minds yet, but it is ours. I've asked Gail to put a copy of this flyer in each of your boxes, and we can email it to Gail so you'll have an electronic copy as well. But the traditional games start March 30th. The first game is going to be held at the Jay Health Center. We would love for you all we'd love to see you all there, but we'd also love for you to encourage your constituents to come. It's free for people to play. It's free for people to watch. And then the qualifying games are held during the holiday, August 24th. I'd also like to invite all of you, if you haven't ever been there, down to the Court Mall to look at the work that's in the Cherokee Spider Gallery and in the shop. We've added something new to the Court Mall, and that is a rotating gallery. That gallery is changed out monthly. Right now, there's a really interesting exhibit in there called Inside the Mind of the Jolly Geek. There are 3 artists represented in the rotating gallery right now, and basically what they've done is provided kind of a map for how they create their work. So there's sketches, there's some narratives depicting how they create their work. So if you have a moment to stop by there at some point, we'd love to see you. The gallery's open from 9 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. And that gallery will be changing March 13th, and there will be 4 artists represented after that date. And the new rotating gallery will be called The Reveling in Raku, a Potter's Tale. So, did I pronounce that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I? Okay, thank you. That's all I have in addition to what's in the report. I won't read you what's in there. I know you all can read it, and if you have questions, you can let me know.
Counselor Crittenden.
Yes, Shay, I just had a quick question on the 184.
Yes,
You know, sometimes there's a down payment, right?
a small one.
Okay. Can you help those folks with that?
With the down payment? We potentially can. Are you talking about with mortgage assistance or just with a consumer loan?
I kind of had my doubts with mortgage assistance, but yeah, can you combine both of those? You're going to get
Mortgage-
a 184, then use the mortgage assistance program to do that down payment for a federal.
Yes, the mortgage assistance can be combined with the 184 program. It's not on this report, but on the community services report that you get, we note on there how many of our mortgage assistance recipients are also participating in the 184 loan program.
I missed that, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's on the first page of that report.
Well, obvious there, I missed it. Thank you, that's a good thing. Good thing. Thank you.
Counselor Baskin.
Yes, I think I know the answer to this, but in that rotating gallery, are those artists they're already signed up through the Spider Gallery? Is that true, or can it be?
They don't have to be gallery artists. I believe last month all of them were gallery artists. The show that is beginning March 13th, I think there may be one who is not a gallery artist.
And how far out would a person need to apply, or what do they have to do to become
To participate in that show? I don't know, but we'll find an answer for you.
Because I have a couple of people in mind from Bonita that are emerging artists that I'd like to see.
Okay.
Get some attention.
Okay, sure, we'll get with you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And I've commented before on the ICW cultural art classes that you all do. I think that's a wonderful thing. I happened to sit in on a presentation that Nikki Baker gave concerning our ICW, and kind of the purpose of these classes was to give those kids something to connect with, to feel a part of, and so I'm glad that you all are working together with them to make that happen. I think it's wonderful. So,
Thank you.
take that back.
We've really enjoyed that. Matt Anderson teaches those classes, and he does a great
that's
job. So, yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Shay?
Could I also mention one little thing, and I hate to mention it on the heels of Diane's $5.5 million TANF grant, but we did receive a grant from HUD. We received the HUD Ross grant. We're kicking that off right now. We'll be hiring 3 staff members who will be located in Tahlequah, Jay, and Claremore, and those staff members will specifically be servicing the Housing Authority tenants, so helping them with things like furthering their education, increasing self-sufficiency through lots of means, not just financial literacy, but through education, through employability, and budgeting items. So we're excited about that.
All right.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay. All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Shay. Okay, so that brings us down to our consent items. Excuse me. The tarot certifications are in the book. Anybody who wants to give me a motion for those?
Make a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I apologize. I didn't catch you in time. I'd like to amend the agenda,
Okay.
if I may, for an item 106134. And the paperwork is supposed to be coming to us. It should be in here, but it's not. And so that would be to the Cherokee group. And
Is this a donation?
yes,
Okay, could I get you to add these other 2? There were 3 donations that were left off. Could you make your motion to include all of those?
make the motion to include all 3.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second to amend the agenda. And then we'll take that up when we approve the other ones. Motion and a second to amend the agenda. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? So we're going to amend the agenda, but now I want to go back to the tarot certifications. Let's go ahead and go through those motions again.
Move for approval.
A motion and a second for the tarot certifications. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, that carries. Community assistance, you got a new sheet. Check it out to be sure that, that your stuff's on there that you want. And then, okay, Counselor Crittenden.
Got some additions here.
Okay.
500 Ministerial Alliance, Stillwell First Christian Church, and I don't know if they just use the church. I'll have to find that out and get you the correct paperwork.
Stillwell what?
Stillwell First Christian Church, Ministerial Alliance. Now, that might be a separate thing. I'll have to find that out. 500.
Okay.
$250, Stillwell Public Library. $500, Jeremiah Foundation. $250, Green Country Dairy Goat Club.
Say that again?
Green Country Dairy Goat. You never heard of goat's milk?
$300, Impact Church Westville. Hope for Today is what they wanted added in the note section, but Impact Church Westville, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Are you done, Counselor Crittenden?
Did we get the law enforcement?
Okay, that's another issue. Go ahead, Keith.
I want to add 500 for American Legion Post 141 Auxiliary for Boys and Girls Club State, Boys and Girls State sponsorship.
And it's already been turned in today.
Brings us to Counselor Vasquez.
Yes, Gail got the paperwork on this today, and it's, I would like to give $500 to Chelsea Boys and Girls Club. And I guess you'd call it organizational support. Thank you.
Counselor Duncan.
I need to add 250, same as Sean's, to the Green Country Dairy Goat.
Hey, come on, there's some giggles now.
I just want to hear everybody laugh.
You wasn't even gonna do it,
All meat goats? Just all dairy goats?
Yeah, just dairy.
Well, hey, just write that down.
Hey, Joe,
Counselor
you get
Watson.
the 500 to Dry Creek. We're gonna go split 3 ways for the cancer, American Cancer Society for $1,000.
That's it?
That's it
We
for
got
right
what they
now.
need?
Let's
Okay,
go with
let's
it.
take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, same sign. Okay, brings us down to law enforcement. Somebody kick it off. Motion?
No,
Motion.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second, and Counselor Crittenden has an adjustment?
yes. All right, Jody. Adair County Sheriff's Office, $13,000. Stillwell Police Department, $6,000. Westville Police, $6,000. Watts Police, $6,000. Adair County Resource, wait, I wrote that down. Adair County Reserve Coalition, $3,000. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anybody else need changes to their law enforcement? If not, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? And then on the roads, seem like we got a new.
Yeah, there is a new list handed out. We have 2 additions for motor fuel tax for Councilor Austin and 1 under motor vehicle tax addition for Councilor Jordan.
And I know I had one question on this memo that you included. I think it's probably a foregone conclusion. When you approve something ahead of the meeting, that is with the counselors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I need a motion and a second. Did I already do that? Need a motion and a second on the roads? Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, there was a sports team funding list handed out.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for the sports teams. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay. And livestock, I guess the report's in the book. Let's see in the middle. Got a motion on that. Can I have a second? Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, brings us down to no old business, new business. We already did the presentation. Well, I want to ask Counselor Lay though, if he knows where who was bringing your paperwork or what?
I have one I can give to Shelley, because all I've got is one.
Have you seen it, Jody?
And I think Todd and Gail were working on it.
Donation? I just got one. Okay.
I think we're good.
This is it's going to Nowita, the community group up in Nowata, and it looks like it's a mower. So Shelley can assimilate that to everybody. It was on our surplus list that we got. So Joe, how many do we have? We've got 3, 4, 5 of them total, I think. And one of the ones we're adding for Shamrock to Oaks needs to change to Delaware County instead of Cherokee. Okay. So there's one kind of a Scrivener's error on Shambaugh, and it says it's the organization in Cherokee County that will be amended to read Delaware County.
Leave it Cherokee County, we're fine with it.
5 of them. Would you do them in 2 rows?
Yes. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve all of the donations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The first budget bond is a capital budget bond. Did Buell leave? I was going to have Buell do that one because it's for the tag agency in Catoosa. So Keith, go ahead. You're next closest to that.
Capital Mod 3.
2118.
This is an act amending Legislative Act 2118 authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2019 Mod 3 and declaring an emergency. And I move for its approval.
Second.
Had a motion and a second. This is for actually a new tag agency a new building. Andy, you want to come up and talk to it just a little bit? Because I'm excited about this, and I think a lot of people will be.
Well, just to begin with a little history, when we decided to put an office in the Tulsa area was after we had the expanded jurisdiction to get all of Tulsa County. That put a undue burden on our Collinsville office, which gets a lot of business. So we opened up the Catoosa office. We were lucky enough to find a facility that we did not have to purchase, we did not have to buy. CNB allowed us to go into the Welcome Center. I don't know if any of you have ever been up there, but it's a Welcome Center right by the Hard Rock, by the Tulsa Stockyards, and it's been a great facility for us. It's easy on and off. Customers know where it is, citizens know where it is, so it's not hard to find. We have, fortunately for us and for area schools, we've outgrown that facility. I don't think we were ever intended to be there permanently. it's a welcome center, so you get a lot of buses with tourists in there. We have our citizens. We've installed an intercom system so they can hear when it's their turn. So I think we've just kind of overstepped our bounds in there. So admin has decided that maybe a building of our own would be best. So I was given the task to use the election commission building as a model and to modify that floor plan so that we can use it, which I tried to do to my best ability other than not being an architect. I do have a little engineering design experience along with Mr. Enlow, who and I, we spent a lot of years at Northeastern doing things like that. So I've got a pretty decent plan for us. Gave it to admin, and that's where we are.
Go ahead, Harley.
I get a comment and a question. How many square foot building are we building there?
Off the top of my head, I don't know if it's on my plan. It's 3,582 total square feet. 3,582.
Pretty good sized building. I'm going to ask Speaker Byrd if he remembered how much property is over there where we're going to be building this building.
Which building, which one are you talking about?
It's where the old
Where that old convenience store was that blew away.
I mean, I remember.
The reason I bring this up is that firecracker stand brings in about $500,000 a year there. And I'm wondering what other space is available there, how big a lot that's on.
It's a pretty big lot, but I can't answer if it's big enough to share.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I have no idea.
That was my question. If this brings in $500,000 a year, is it going to be big enough to put some more stuff on the thing? So I'm a little concerned about, are we trading off this to get that? But still, you know, we need people looking at this stuff to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
$500,000 a year is not anything to close your eyes about. Thank you.
That's a nice location.
I'm not against Bill getting a tag off.
Well, Catoosa, excuse me, Councilor Crittenden, but Catoosa is as large a tag office as Tahlequah. It does per dollar as much as Tahlequah does on an average basis. So it makes us a lot of money.
How far is it from Catoosa?
Make enough money to split the difference off each pay your salaries and stuff, and when you get $500,000 and not do anything. You know, things like that need to be looked at before making decisions.
How far is it from Catoosa to Collinsville?
30 minutes, 30 miles probably. And when we initially started all the expanded tag offices, we tried to stay within a 30-mile radius because we figured that wasn't too taxing on our citizens to drive 30 minutes for their tag.
I just, everyone in here. Does Jay have? But I just, of course, being where Kane and I are from, you know, if a whole lot of Cherokees figure into that one of these days, we could bring them some business, and we're always looking for job creation in that area, and you know, just kind of look at our clinics. Wilma P holds its own on the paper they put out on, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I'm not trying to say nobody else can say this, but that I think that would go over pretty good right there in Adair County. That's just getting in line, I guess, but
the tax commission does not make the decision on where the tag offices go.
Who does?
Administration.
Well, I'd like to get in good with them boys someday.
So
thank you.
I understand they're pretty easy to work with.
It's too late, Sean. Thank you.
It's too late.
Okay, let's vote on this resolution. All those, or just act.
No, we are not going ocean.
Go ahead.
For 8 years, I have been asking for a tag office up in no water Oklahoma.
I'm very aware of that, sir. Yes, sir.
And the guys down at the dark end of the hall don't see fit to give us one, and I didn't know there wasn't one still. There's no tag office in Adair County?
No, there's one in Salisaw and Tahlequah, and those are both within the original 30-mile radius that we,
Easy access.
when they first started doing
I'm
that.
not within 30 miles, by the way, so my criteria is a little bit different.
Yes, sir, it
Even
is.
though it amazes me there's not one in Stillwell. So I know somebody's watching. They always are. And maybe when things change, after June 1, I'll get one and know what they belong. Thank you.
Counselor Vasquez?
I would just like to make a comment. In northern Craig County, I have to drive to Adair town to the tag office. It's over 45 miles, so.
You need one too.
Yeah, I need one. And Wells.
I would love to have one in every town, but then your profit margin starts weakening and, you know.
Could be service
And
profit.
I would also like to encourage everybody to try the online renewal. It is so easy. If I do it on Monday, I've got my tags on Friday.
If it's a regular tag, it's easy to do online if you have a handicap or farm. Right now, we're not doing those. Hopefully, eventually, one day we will. But you have outside things that you have to verify.
There's a lot of people that can use it. though,
Yes,
Andy.
the
Don't put a wet
online
blanket-
is awesome.
Don't put a wet blanket on this meeting, thank you. All those in, oh, you have something.
Let's revisit that again about the $500,000. Go over that again.
We rent that piece of property up there to a firecracker operation. About 500 million, I'm 500,000.
A year.
I don't know if that's the exact numbers or not, but that's what I remember.
Is that right, Joe? Who's got the answer to that?
Jamie does.
Jamie
knows.
Yes, it's C&B property.
It's C&B property.
My understanding, it's C&B property, so they would probably be the ones that would have that information.
Missed our turn.
All right, Todd's on his feet.
If it's okay with you, I'll make sure to address Councilor Busman's concerns. I'll visit with C&B, determine the size of that lot, and then if we can make exceptions, make sure that we continue that. And the other thing I'm also concerned about is making sure we have adequate parking in and around that building and make sure we can handle the load. So we'll work on ensuring that we keep both of those things in play.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd.
Counselor Lay, do you have something to add?
I do, and it may be trivial, but to me it's not. C&B property is our property.
Yes, sir.
And so this kills me when somebody says, well, C&B does that. C&B owns that. This tribe, our people own that property. There wouldn't be a C&B if we didn't have our sovereignty through the Cherokee Nation. And just to be flippant about C&B owns it, so we can't do anything about it, just kind of upsets me a little bit, and I don't mind telling you that.
Well, I apologize if I was out of line. I was just telling them that that's under C&B's umbrella. They handle that property. We don't, as a tribe, have anything to do with, the tax commission doesn't have anything to do with that property. That would be under C&B's umbrella.
And C&B is under our umbrella.
I understand that, yes,
I am
sir.
a member of that corporation over there.
Yes, sir.
Every man and woman that sits here is a member of that
I understand that,
corporation.
yes, sir.
We own it.
Yes, sir.
For our people.
Yes, sir, we do. And I sure didn't mean to step out of line and act like we didn't. So I apologize if I did.
You're okay.
Yeah, and I was just going to add, realizing the revenues would be the biggest reason why it would be a distinction between Cherokee Nation and Cherokee Nation businesses. That vendor has a contract with C&B since it's actually C&B's property, so the revenues are booked through C&B rather than through Cherokee Nation. That's why Jamie didn't know anything about that particular.
Yeah, for me.
And we also realize that you guys are not the decision makers. You report to us and we appreciate that, okay? And if you get that information back to us, then we can make some good decisions. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's vote. All those in favor of the budget mod, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, that one passes. Counselor Shambaugh, you want to do number 5?
This is an act, amending legislative act number 22-18, authorizing a comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2019, mod 5, and declaring emergency. I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for the budget mod. All those in favor? Any opposition? And next meeting is scheduled for March 28th at 3. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? There's never any opposition to that one.